Now on record, I'll defer to you, Mr. Daly, for the order in which the calendar is called.
I don't think, why don't we
Mr.
take
Stevens?
this, Mr. Turner's matter? I think we're just going to continue that. That's number 9 on our 10 o'clock calendar.
So, good morning, Mr. Turner, good morning. Set for a pre-trial hearing at this time. Turn to the parties for the status of the matter.
Continue. I've just come on board with some information.
Yep.
So
Next go.
the August 4th calendar at 1:30.
The next court date we have is August 4th, and after that, I think it's
And I talked to the clerk and she said we could put it at 1:30 because I have other things on Thursday morning. So she said that. Thursday morning.
what I didn't do was click the refresh button to bring up what was already there. Resetting the matter to August 4th, 2022 at 1 o'clock, it looks like,
Sure.
or thereabouts. Mr. Attorney, at the request of Ms. Langley and the prosecutor, resetting the matter to August 4th at 1 o'clock. Any conditions resetting at pretrial remain in effect, and of course, stay in contact with Ms. Langley. Any questions at all?
Nope.
That concludes the hearing. I am signing electronically an order resetting the matter. You can get a copy of that by going to the window outside the courtroom and to your immediate left. Ms. Langley, good to see you. You take care. And Mr. Turner, we'll see you in August. Back to the beginning. Stephen, I guess at this point I'll defer to you for
Thank you, Your Honor.
any cases you wish to present.
Yes, if I could start with Christopher Bertrand. Mr. Bertrand is here. We do have for pretrial. This is off the 11 o'clock calendar. 2, we do have a plea form in the inner courts with an amendment to a plea to an amended charge of BWLS second degree with an agreed recommendation.
Good morning, sir. For the record, is your full name Christopher Roy Bertrand?
Yes, sir.
I'm looking at a statement of defendant on plea of guilty to 1 count, amended 2, driving a license suspended or revoked in the second degree. Plea form tells me you're 39 years of age. You've been through the 12th grade. Is that correct?
Yes, 12 plus.
Have you gone over the plea form with Mr. Stephen? If you had any questions, were your questions answered?
Yes.
Now, driving a license suspended or revoked in the second degree is what they call a gross misdemeanor. On a plea of guilty, I would be free to impose up to the maximum, which would be 364 days in jail, regardless of what's recommended. You realize that?
Yes.
If I accept the plea, you give up the rights contained in paragraph 5. No trial, no appeal, simply a sentencing. I'm reviewing your statement of paragraph 11, which satisfies the factual elements of the offense. With that in mind, as to 1 count of driving a license suspended, revoked in the second degree, alleged to have occurred within the city of Yelm. How do you plead, guilty or not guilty?
Guilty.
You make that plea of your own free will?
Yes, sir.
Anybody make any threats or promises to you to make the plea?
No.
The recommended sentence is all jail time suspended, $250 probation fee, and as a result of the plea, the Department of Licensing will suspend your license or add to the suspension for a period of time, which is, I understand, to be a year, but I'm not sure of that. Mr. Steve, anything further with regard to
Nothing
sentencing?
further. Well, I would just add, he's got a lot of hoops to jump through and he started that process. We just don't know how long it's going to take. And so we wanted to wrap this up and kind of get himself in a position while the FTAs were cleared and he could start working the deal over. his license back, and so that's where he's at now.
Mr. Bertrand, anything you'd like to tell me, think I should know?
I do have an unpaid fine, out of here. I believe it was $250 to start. So I don't know if I have a warrant out of here, because of that. I got something in the mail.
You don't have a warrant out of here, but I do note that you do have a warrant out of Pierce
Pierce
County
County, yeah.
for a DUI charge.
Yeah.
I'm gonna urge you to take care of that as soon as you can. When people get arrested, it always is at the most inconvenient time
Yeah.
of all. I think the recommendation is a good one. I'm gonna follow it. All jail time suspended 364 days on the condition you have law-abiding behavior, which includes don't drive unless you're licensed and insured. No editing the necessary document. I think it takes longer to do this on a screen than it does
Same
when
way.
it does in person. Sign on the. Mr. Bertrand, you can get a copy of today's order by going to the window outside the courtroom and to your immediate left. I'm going to wish you the best of luck. We live in a world where you pretty much have to drive, but as long as you're not driving, stay out of trouble with the law. Time passes and you'll be eligible for reinstatement and get your license back and make sure you keep it.
Thank you very much.
Good luck to you. And take care.
Next matter, Your Honor, I can call is Diane Gange. Miss Gange is number 2. The clock calendar. Have a plea of guilty in that matter that I've gone over with her to 1 county criminal trespass, and we're asking that the court accept that today.
Good afternoon. For the record, is your name Diane Marie Gage?
Yes,
Am I pronouncing your name correctly?
yes,
Okay, thank you. I'm looking at a statement of defendant on plea of guilty to 1 count of criminal trespass, 1st degree. Plea form tells me you're 44 years of age. You've been through the 12th grade. Any problems at all reading, understanding the plea form?
no,
You've gone over it with your attorney,
yes,
and you realize if I accept that, you give up the rights contained in paragraph 5, no trial, no appeal, simply a sentencing which could be up to 364 days in jail and or a $5,000 fine. You realize that.
yes,
That in mind as to 1 count of criminal trespass, 1st degree, alleged to have occurred within the city of Yelm on September 30th, 2021. How do you plead guilty or not guilty?
guilty,
You make that plea of your own free will.
yes, I did,
Anybody make any threats or promises to you to make you plead guilty?
no,
I will find the plea to be freely, knowingly, and voluntarily made. And your statement in paragraph 11 does satisfy the factual elements. Now, the recommendation is fairly simple, $250 probation fee, law-abiding behavior, which of course involves abiding by any existing no contact orders. Just need anything further?
Very limited criminal history, Your Honor. We're just asking that the court follow this.
Mr. Dolly, anything further? That's
Disagree, recommendation.
Mr. Gage, anything you'd like to tell me or think I should know?
no,
I'm going to follow the recommendation, 364 days in jail, suspended on the condition you, most importantly, stay out of trouble, law-abiding behavior, and pay a $250 fine. Your payments on that will be $25 a month. That's the least of my concerns. If you can't make the payments or that becomes difficult, let us know and we can very easily address that, okay?
Okay.
Judgment and sentence. Again, you can get a copy of today's order by going to the window outside the courtroom and to the.
Thank you.
Any questions at all? Thank you for your patience and good luck to you.
Next matter, Your Honor, is Mr. Williams. Robert Williams.
Mr. Williams, good morning.
Sorry, Your Honor. In Mr. Williams' case, Mr. Williams has very limited criminal history, no prior theft charge. We've had a stipulated order of continuance in O courts with an agreed recommendation of 12 months stipulated order of continuance on a $250 fine. He's going to stay away from Safeway and not have any law violations. And at the end of this time, that case will be dismissed.
Full name Robert Colton Williams.
Yes, sir.
Mr. Williams, I'm looking at this stipulated order of continuance. Have you gone over that with your attorney?
Yes.
Basically, it's a contract under the terms of which, if you abide by the conditions, charge is dismissed. If you don't, and the city proves that, we're going to have a hearing based on the police reports, which will almost certainly result in a conviction. You can avoid that by abiding by the conditions, which are really very simple. Stay out of trouble.
Yes, sir.
Which includes, not going to any place that you're not really welcome.
Yeah.
The costs in the matter are a period of amount of $250. You can pay that at the rate of $25 a month, beginning next month, August 7th.
Okay.
Now, again, if there's an issue making the fine payments, just don't ignore it. Let us know. We can deal with it.
Okay.
Any questions?
Nope.
I'm going to wish you the best of luck. What I want you to do is go to the window outside the courtroom to the left, get a copy of this agreement, and I want you to look at it again carefully. And if you have any questions, call Mr. Sneed, okay?
Okay.
Good luck to you.
Thank you.
I'm going to defer to Mr. Haverco. I have a couple other people to talk to real quick.
We're gonna call Buddy Graff, will be the next matter. It's on the
That's page 6, docket 3. Mr. Graff, go ahead and have a seat. And good morning.
sign here.
Paper is all about here.
Grab in a minute. I'm going to have some paperwork handed to me. It's going to take me a moment to review it. A lot of it is kind of form language, but there are certain parts of it that I'm really going to need to look at. So I'll turn to Mr. Haverko, your attorney for a presentation.
Thank you, Judge. A matter comes on at the court for a pretrial hearing on a DUI charge, and based on in part his record and the exposure he would have with regard to the penalties, including incarceration, has been involved in treatment. And we are tendering to court here as a petition based on an assessment from Freedom Recovery recommending deferred prosecution. I have spoken with the agency and they say that he's participating effectively in the program and actually has had a turnabout in attitude. Not that he had a bad attitude, but he was a little bit not quite buying into the program completely. But the comments to me from the counselor was he's really, participating very effectively, and this has a lot more insight into his history and chemical dependency use. So we're asking the court to accept that. And we're proposing a $500 probation fee, which based on the fact to be 5 years of probation, we would just ask the court authorize a time payment agreement for that.
We know there's many courts for it. We need a time payment. I do have one. Graph, I've reviewed this to the extent that I need to. I've heard it said, and I kind of believe that it's sometimes more difficult to go down this road than it is to just simply plead guilty and get it behind you. What you've evidently done is realize or come to know that hey, there's something that an issue in my life, like we all have, that I need to deal with, and the less I get it, it's going to get me eventually down the road at some point in life. I'm going to wish you the best of luck with this. I will approve that. The costs are $500. Not at all concerned about that. If that interferes with I don't know if you have insurance or you're having to pay for treatment out of pocket or not, but if the cost that we're imposing interferes at all with any sort of treatment or your life at all, let us know and we can certainly deal with that. Any question at all? I'm going to approve the order, and there'll be this is a little more complicated than I wish it would be, given the fact that the Yelm Court system and doesn't really work with but I will sign, I think, a couple of orders. One of the order granting the deferred prosecution, but also we have to do kind of a judgment and sentence, memorializing certain aspects of it. There it is.
Good job. Well, probably most people don't really follow through with that kind of thing. So, sounds like you're actually are doing a pretty good job. Because I spoke to the scoop right, she said, if you really, you're kind of been a change in attitude and acceptance, and so she was pretty complimentary with your participation. I'm very excited into the program and what you're doing.
Yeah.
So, sure looks like you're kind of on a good track. Yeah. 74 days in. It's awesome.
One thing with regard to the treatment program, that they're required to submit reports to us. Sometimes they don't always do that. You want to stay in touch with Mr. Everco and stay in touch with us to make sure we're actually receiving that. These agencies are really good about treatment, but sometimes not so great about the paperwork associated with that. Mr. Graff, all I'm going to do is wish you the best of luck at this point, and remind you that it doesn't matter how many times you fall down, it's the getting back up that counts. And that sounds like what's going on here. Wish you the good luck. It's not the easiest thing to do here, but it'll be worth it. Get through it. It'll be worth it. You can get this muted. Take care of yourself. And again, we're going to have to send you copies of the petition, the order on deferred prosecution. You can get a copy of the judgment and sentence, which simply incorporates the order on deferred prosecution and sets out a payment plan. Good luck to you. You take care of yourself.
Thank you.
Good luck, sir. What time are you scheduled? Is Josh still here?
Yes,
Well, you're still here.
Is Josh still? So we're ready on Mr. If we're ready for the next case.
Get your graph. And next is
Still on the 10 o'clock, item number 5, Dylan Stanley. I believe he might be in Zoom.
Mr. Stanley, it looks like you may be muted. If you'd unmute yourself, we'll address your matter at this time.
Hello, can you hear me?
Good morning. Is this Dylan Joel Stanley?
Yeah.
Good morning. Your attorney, Mr. Haverco, is in the courtroom. We're going to address your matter at this time. Mr. Haverco?
Thank you, Your Honor. Parties have reached an agreement. I believe it's Mr. Stanley's intention of entering a straight plea to the charge, violation of no contact order, for which it comes before the court this morning for a pretrial hearing. I believe we're ready to proceed.
Mr. Stanley, I'm looking at on a computer screen a statement of defendant on plea of guilty to one count of violating the terms and conditions of a no contact order. This plea form tells me you're 25 years of age. Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
And your full name is Dylan Joel Stanley.
Yes, sir.
Now, the offense you're pleading guilty to is a gross misdemeanor. The maximum penalty on conviction would be 364 days in jail and or a $5,000 fine. You realize that? I'd be free to impose that regardless of what's recommended.
Yes, sir.
And if I accept the plea, you give up the rights contained in paragraph 5. There's no trial, no appeal, simply a sentencing which could be up to the maximum. With that in mind, as to one count of violating the terms and conditions of a no contact order within the city of Yelm on April 25th, 2022, how do you plead guilty or not guilty?
I plead guilty.
You make that plea of your own free will?
Yes, sir.
Has anybody made any threats or promises to you to make you plead guilty, except the sentencing recommendation?
No.
I will find the plea to be freely, knowingly, and voluntarily made, and the statement in paragraph 11 does satisfy the factual elements of the offense. Mr. Abaco, anything to add to the recommended sentence?
Nothing to add, Your Honor. It's a joint recommendation. We'll just ask the court to follow it. Thank you.
Mr. Dilly, anything to add? Mr. Stanley, anything you'd like to tell me? You don't have to say anything, but if there's something you want me to know or think I should know, now's the time.
No, Your Honor, I don't think I have anything.
I'm going to follow the recommendation, 364 days in jail, $250 probation fee, which you can pay at the rate of $25 a month. All jail time suspended on the condition you have law-abiding behavior, and that especially goes with and applies to no contact orders. No contact order is means just that, no contact until the court that imposed it modifies it or withdraws it. Any questions?
Just wanted to confirm that you're saying no jail time, correct?
That is correct. The jail time is imposed 364 days, but it's suspended on the condition you have law-abiding behavior, which would include abiding by any and all no contact orders.
Gotcha. Okay, thank you.
Mr. Stanley, thank you. You take care. That concludes the hearing. We will be mailing you the copies of the today's paperwork generated in connection with the matter.
All right.
Good luck.
Thank you.
Oh, no, I actually saw it. Go ahead. Yeah. You go. Sure. No problem.
I'm ready to go with it. Full cases.
I'm inclined to say I've completed the paperwork, but that's not really accurate. I've completed the computer work.
Understood, exactly. Call Mr. Dragon, Vladislav Dragon, I believe he's on the 11 o'clock calendar. Number 6. I just have a form resetting this matter, asking to go out a couple of months on this. Him and I need a chance to discuss the matter.
Mr. Dragan, about how far out would you like to go?
We'll go to that first date in September. So I'm not here in August.
Any objection, Mr. Dilly?
No objection.
Mr. Dragan, we're resetting the matter to the first court date in September. In the meantime, any conditions of release set remain in effect. And of course, stay in touch with Mr. Steve, your attorney, okay? Any questions at all?
No questions, Your Honor.
Next court date, September 1, 11 o'clock in the morning. Mr. Dragan, I've now signed today's order. You can get a copy of today's order by going to the window outside the courtroom to your left. But again, stay in touch, law-abiding behavior, and make sure Mr. Steve is able to contact you.
Okay.
Good luck and thank you for your patience.
Thanks.
Take care.
Thanks.
And you as well.
We could next call Mr. Seibert's off the telephone or off the Zoom.
Mr. Seibert, good morning. Are you able to hear me? It looks like you're muted.
Can you hear me?
Now I can. Mr. Seibert, good morning. We're going to address your matter at this time. Is your name William Joseph Seibert?
Yes, Your Honor, it is.
Your attorney and Mr. Steve is in the courtroom. I'll defer to him for the status of the case.
Okay.
Thank you, Your Honor. We have a plea form in the Yelm Court's to an amended charge of hit and run unattended that we'd like to enter today.
Mr. Seibert, I'm looking at a statement of defendant on plea of guilty to one count of hit and run unattended, amended down from hit and run attended. Plea form tells me your full name is William Joseph Seibert, and you're 49 years of age, and you've been through the 11th grade plus of high school.
Yes, Your Honor, I have.
Have you gone over the plea form with your attorney?
Yes, I have, Your Honor.
And if you had any questions at all about what it meant to enter a plea of guilty to a criminal charge, was your question answered?
No, he explained it well. I understand fully, Your Honor.
Thank you. You were giving up the rights to that are contained in paragraph 5, and no trial, no appeal, simply a sentencing, which, this being a misdemeanor, could be up to 90 days in jail and up to a $1,000 fine. If you realize that.
Yes, Your Honor, I do.
With regard to one charge of hit and run unattended alleged to have occurred within the city of Yelm on March 28th of 2021, how do you plead guilty or not guilty?
I plead guilty, Your Honor.
Make that plea of your own free will.
Yes, sir.
Anybody make any threats or promises to you to make you plead guilty?
No, no one did, Your Honor.
Really knowingly and voluntarily made, and your statement in paragraph 11 does satisfy the factual elements of the offense.
Okay, thank you, Your Honor.
The recommended sentence is all jail time suspended on the condition you have law-abiding behavior and pay a $250 fine. Mr. Steve, anything further to?
This is a complicated case. It's gone on a while, Your Honor. I think this is a fair resolution. We're asking that we'll follow it.
Mr. Dilly, anything to add? Mr. Seibert, do you have a right of elocution, they call it? You can tell me anything you think I should know about the case. You don't have to say anything, but if you have anything I should know, now's the time.
Your Honor, it was no, I'm good. Thank you. I'll keep it short.
Mr. Seibert, your attorney indicated that kind of a complicated factual pattern to the case, and that sometimes happens.
Yeah.
Better to resolve a case in a way you can live with rather than to go to trial and wind up with something nobody likes at all.
Right, Your Honor, and that's how I feel too. And I just want it to be over.
That's sometimes it's good to get stuff into the rearview mirror and go on and live life. But in any event, with unattended it's quite a reduction. That's changes it from a gross misdemeanor to a simple misdemeanor, and it's something you can live with. 90 days all suspended on the condition of law-abiding behavior and the $250 fine. You can pay that at the rate of $25 a month. That's not that important, but if you can't make the payments, your financial situation changes, let us know and we can easily deal with that, okay?
Okay, Your Honor.
Signing off on the, or fixing my signature to the judgment and sentence form. Copy of that will be sent to you at your address, and Mr. Steve will likewise have a copy of that. I'm going to wish you the best of luck, and I want to thank you for your patience.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Cyrus, thank you.
Is that all?
And that
Okay.
concludes the hearing. You can sign off.
All right, thank you. Bye. Up there.
No, I'm not.
Your Honor, I do have another person, I believe, on the phone, Casey Brady. Is Cynthia Miller still on the line? Okay. We'll do the Casey Brady case, Your Honor, and then Miss Miller, and then I'm gonna meet with Miss Wells since she's here. And then we'll come back.
Ms. Wells, good afternoon.
We could call Casey Brady. Thank you.
Mr. Brady, good morning. Are you able to hear me?
Yes, I can understand you.
We're going to address your matter at this time. Mr. Stevie, your attorney's in the courtroom. I'll turn to him for the status of the matter.
Thank you, Your Honor. In this matter, with Mr. Brady, we have an agreed recommendation of the driving license suspended. Third is going to be dismissed upon successful entrance of the plea to operation without ignition interlock. All the jail time suspended and a $250 fine on this.
Mr. Brady, do you disagree with any of that?
No, sir.
I am looking at a statement of defendant on plea of guilty to one count of operating the vehicle without ignition interlock when required to do so. This plea form tells me your full name is Casey Michael Brady. You're 24 years of age. Is that
Yes,
correct?
sir. Yes, sir.
Any problem going over the plea form with your attorney?
No, sir.
Now, if I accept the plea, you give up the rights contained in paragraph 5, no trial, no appeal, simply a sentencing, which, given the charge, could be up to 364 days in jail and up to a $5,000 fine, regardless of what's recommended.
Yes, sir.
With that in mind, as to one count of operating a motor vehicle within the city of Yelm without ignition interlock when required to have that by the Department of Licensing, how do you plead guilty or not guilty?
Guilty.
Mr. Brady, you make that plea of your own free will.
Yes, sir.
Anybody make any threats or promises to you to make you plead guilty?
No, sir.
I will find the plea to be freely, knowingly, and voluntarily made. And your statement in paragraph 11 does satisfy the factual elements. And the date of violation was July 2nd of 2020. Recommendation is all jail time suspended on the condition of law-abiding behavior at a $250 fine. Mr. Steve, anything to add to that?
He's just looking to put this behind him, Your Honor. There's not any current cases like this that, well, I'll just put it this way. He's in the process of taking care of all these. He's not driving anymore. So we're just asking him to court follow it.
Mr. Brady, is there anything you'd like to tell me? You don't have to say anything, but if there's something I should know, you'd like me to know, now's the time.
No, sir.
There's one cure for the issue that you're evidently facing here, and that cure is time. It's,
Yep.
The longer you go without driving, without violating, the sooner you're going to be eligible to get your license back. And I'm going to urge you to let that time go by. Don't have any further issues with the Department of Licensing. Do what you need to do to get reinstated. Okay.
Okay, sounds good.
Abide by all conditions that are imposed by the Department of Licensing. They don't like it when you don't do that. I want to thank you for your patience. We'll be sending you a copy of today's paperwork. Good luck to you. Review it carefully, and if you have any questions, give your attorney a call, okay?
Okay, thank you.
Mr. Brady, thank you. That concludes the hearing. You can sign off now.
Okay, have a good day.
I'll be back momentarily.
If we could turn to item number 15 on the 10 o'clock calendar. So Titus Williams, he has a couple other matters, 13 and 14. I didn't know if he had appeared. I haven't had any contact with him on his compliance diversion case.
We have kind of two different spellings for.
Yeah, it's the same
Same
fellow.
guy.
He's got a couple names in JIS, I believe, and so I think it's the same person, same date of birth.
Of course, it was the same
So,
person.
so I guess, I don't know if the court already called item numbers 13 and 14, or if he appeared.
No, we had Robert Williams, he entered an SOC, but yeah, items 14 and 15, Titus Markeith Bill.
Yeah, so he's just basically failed to appear.
$5,000 deductible on board for each.
On each case. Any objection?
No
So
basis
ordered.
to object, Your Honor. And then see on the 11 o'clock, it's 11:33 now. Number one is Natasha Aronson, and thought I'd just let the court know. Let's see. Just wanted to. So I've attempted to call the number for Ms. Aronson on April 8, April 25, July 1. It's a good number. And she answers her outgoing message phone says, this is so-and-so, this is Ms. Aronson. And I couldn't leave a message because she hasn't set up her mailbox. It's a cell phone though. And I texted her saying, hey, this is your court-appointed lawyer from Yelm. Please contact me. I've never received a return text or call. No, mine for her ends in 6567. Yes.
And I can't read the number. It's that box.
Yeah, it just ends in 9828.
We have a phone number ending in 9828.
Oh.
Yes, good morning. Your name is, we have a number, but we don't have a name to go with it. What is your name?
Oh, I'm Tasha Aronson.
Oh, okay. Sounds good. I need to speak with her.
Ms. Aronson, your attorney is in the courtroom and evidently he needs to speak to you. Can he call you on this number? The number you're.
No, I'm actually on a Wi-Fi number, and I'm not sure what the phone number is.
She's not.
I'm way out in the Bald Hills, so I don't have any service where I'm at except for the Wi-Fi.
We have the phone number here. It shows up on caller ID. And
Oh, okay. Well, then, yeah.
Tasha, this is Dan Hammerco, your court-appointed lawyer. I don't know if you can hear me. I need to speak with you about your case. Can I give you a call with that phone number ending in 9828?
Okay, let me grab a pen real quick. Or you want me to call you? Is that what you're saying?
no, you don't need to
Make
write.
sure I heard you right.
If you don't hear from Mr. Haverco within the next 5 minutes, sign back in.
Okay, all right.
Not ambition luck.
And Your Honor, in this matter, this is Ms. Wells.
Ms. Wells, again, I know her from Nisqually Tribal Court. Yes, Ms. Wells, how are you?
Good.
And we just have a motion to continue this out to September. There's some licensing of pets that we are trying to, we think we might have accomplished, but we need to verify that and figure out exactly what needs to happen there. And I think that's going to help us find a resolution to this matter. We're going to get this done the next time we're here.
Hearing no objection from the city, we'll do just that. And as well as it takes a moment to prepare the paperwork on the computer system we have. Be setting the matter to September 1, 11 o'clock. I've signed the order resetting. Ms. Wells, thanks for appearing. Good to see you here. Take it easy. If you'd go to the window and get a copy of today's order, I want to thank you for appearing. You take care of yourself, and we'll see you back here in September.
All right. Thought it was late, so I just came and ran in here.
That's no problem. Stay safe, stay well.
Thank you.
You still have Ms. Miller? Okay, and we can call that matter, Your Honor. I believe there's an order.
I missed that. I was reading.
Oh, sorry.
Who's the?
Ms. Miller,
Okay.
Cynthia Miller should be a motion by the city.
Ms. Miller, we're going to address your matter at this time. Are you able to hear me?
Yes.
I'm looking, Mr. Steve, at an order of dismissal. Without
Yes.
prejudice.
No objection, yes.
Ms. Miller, the parties have moved to dismiss the charge without prejudice. What that means is if some new evidence comes up or if something occurs to the city, that they are free to refile the matter. As a practical matter and in the real world, that almost never happens. I want to wish you the best of luck. We're going to dismiss the case, and that takes care of the hearing and takes care of the case as well. Good luck to you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, ma'am. Take care.
You too.
Next matter we can call, Your Honor, is Ms. Bowden Miller. I'm going to get her on speakerphone. For some reason, her phone's not working today. Let's see form Ms. Bowden Miller.
Got it.
And Your Honor, I'm in open court with Ms. Bowden Miller on the phone. We do have a stipulated order of continuance that I've gone over with her that we'd like the court to review.
Ms. Bowden Miller, for the record, is your name Christina J. Bowden Miller?
Yes.
I'm looking at a contract that your attorneys negotiated with the city under the terms of which this matter can go away if you simply abide by the conditions set forth in the agreement. Do you realize that?
Yes.
And it looks like the conditions are simply stay out of trouble and the charge will be dismissed. Ms. Bowden Miller, now if you violate the agreement and the city proves that, we're back to square one. We'll have a hearing based on the police reports only, and that would result almost certainly in convictions. You don't want to go there. Abide by the conditions. That includes a probation fee in the amount of $251.
Should be 250.
Ah.
Sorry.
$250, which you can pay at the rate of $25 a month, starting August 7th. Ms. Bodenmiller, any questions?
No, sir.
I'm going to wish you the best of luck. We'll be mailing you a copy of today's agreement. What I'll want you to do is read it over carefully. And if you have any questions about what it means, give Mr. Sneva a call, okay?
Okay.
Hey, thank you for appearing. You take care. That concludes the hearing. You can sign off. Okay, now.
I have one, if she's on the record, but if you do, that's cool too. Are you sure?
Yep.
Oh, she's not back there. Okay. Wait for mine to dial back in. Okay.
Call Raymond Scott. I feel like I thought next time was going to be. Hello, can you hear me? Okay, Your Honor, the next matter I'd like to call is off the 11 o'clock calendar, Mr. Scott. Mr. Scott comes on for a pretrial, and we have a stipulated order of continuance in Yelm Court that I've gone over with him.
Good morning, sir. Is your full name Raymond Scott Jr.?
Yes, sir.
Mr. Scott, I'm looking at the stipulated order of continuance. That's a contract between yourself and the city negotiated by the attorney, your attorney, under the terms of which the charge will go away as long as you stay out of trouble, pay a probation fee in the amount of $250 at the rate of $25 a month.
Yes, absolutely.
And if you violate the agreement and the city proves that, in return for this agreement, you've given up your right to go to trial, have witnesses. We'll simply have a hearing that'll be based on the police report alone, and that would almost certainly result in a findings of guilty. We don't want to go there. You have a good agreement. The charges can go away. It's up to you. I'm going to wish you the best of luck with that. Any questions?
No, sir. Thank you so much.
Thank you, and good luck to you. We'll be sending you a copy of today's agreement. I want you to read that over carefully. And if you have any questions at all, give Mr. Sneva a call, okay?
Okay, absolutely.
Good luck. Take care.
Thank you.
All right, thank you.
All right, thank you. While we wait, Your Honor, I do have other matters that I can go through that are off the record, people that have contacted me.
We can start with yep, the 10 o'clock, I guess.
Yes, Mr. McCaskill. I hear from Mr. McCaskill. He is currently under the weather this morning, and so he's asked me to execute a reset, continuance form, resetting this to September 1st. Again, that's just because I'm gone. I did make him aware he's got 2 warrants in the Olympia Municipal Court, and he was going to call down there today to set up how to get those taken care of. So I'm asking to set this out with a waiver to the 1st of September.
We'll note the non-appearance for speedy trial purposes. Reset the matter to September 1. Speedy trial will recommence upon his appearance.
Clerk, is there any numbers that we don't know who they are? No. Okay. Your Honor, you ready for another one?
Looks like Zach
Zach
Stanley.
Yes, and Mr. Stanley, this has been going on for a while. However, spoke with the city about this, and you know, he's finally in a spot where he's got a lot of momentum going in treatment. And so we've agreed that if we want to keep that going, we're going to set this out to October to kind of see how he's doing. And if that can continue, I think we'll be able to resolve this in a way that helps him out in October. And so I did send, obviously not to your honor, but to the court and to the prosecutor, that there is compliance that we just weren't getting. And so I've talked to him a couple times yesterday. I've asked that he contact his treatment provider and make sure the right forms are signed so that our court's getting that and not just having that pushed to me. So with that, we're asking for the 6th of October.
Note the non-appearance and reset to October 6th, 11 o'clock. And we'll wish him the best of luck in treatment. That's good to hear.
Yes, I agree. Next matter, Your Honor, is the Titus Williams matters that I believe I'm assigned to both of these. It may still be showing Mr. Haverco had an old one of his. Nonetheless, I don't have any information to provide the court in that matter.
I think, did we already address that?
Yes, we did. And I think that's actually dockets 14 and 15, despite it lists you for 14, Dan for 15. I think it's the same person.
I think, yeah, I think it is.
It just got, looks like it just got spelled.
Yes, that's how they got the two different public defenders, was because at the time of arraignment on the newest one, we did not know it was the same person.
So is he, we already dealt with that?
The addition form.
We've already dealt
Oh,
with it. Yeah.
fair enough.
For both of them.
For, yeah,
Sorry. Uncalled for.
If, okay, let's see here. Let's see. Michael Wilson, I have a reset form. Mr. Wilson got today's court case confused and is at work with no service. I was able to get a hold of him. I did execute a form. I put this on October. He does have a couple of things he needs to do that I think, I'm hoping they'll be done by September, but I'm also, Your Honor, trying to spread these out a little bit since we've got one. I'm gone for much of August. We've got one court date a month. I wanted to not have too much backed up.
Note the non-appearance for speedy trial purposes. Reset it to October 6th, 10 o'clock a.m. and look forward to seeing him then.
Just let me know when the court's ready. I've got another one.
Ready.
Ms. Burns, number 4 off the 11 o'clock. I also have a reset form on that one. This one, Your Honor, I'm anticipating resolving via compromise and misdemeanor, and my hope will be that we're actually turning that paperwork in ex parte and having some emails go around about that much before September 1st. Ms. Burns, I've got money that's going to be going into my trust account here very shortly. We should be resolving that soon. But we are going to ask for September 1st while we, just for a placeholder.
September.
Yeah.
Note the non-appearance as usual, but reset to 9-1. At 11 o'clock. Be Jack Chenier.
Yes, I believe it's Chenier. I can't quite remember, but I believe he pronounces it Chenier. He is in treatment, Your Honor, or entering very soon. Kind of a psychiatric inpatient that he's going to be doing. So I've asked to set this out a couple months while he gets me some documentation of that. And I've reached out to the alleged victim and she indicated she wanted to speak with me. So him and I went over that film a couple of days ago and I'm asking the court to accept it.
October.
Oh, fine. No.
September, October?
September.
September.
September's fine. I think.
September 1, 10 o'clock.
Next is Mr. Powell. The city has a motion in that matter.
Yeah, city's moved to dismiss, Your Honor.
No objection.
Mr. Powell, motion for dismissal granted.
Looks like we took care of Mr. Syberts and Mr. Scott. Ms. Westerby, I do not have any information to provide the court on her whereabouts. Looks like we've had previous warrants in this matter. If I'm looking at this correctly, it's an older case.
$5,000 cash bond.
So ordered.
And then I missed one, Your Honor.
Back to page 11. Cynthia Miller. Michael Lewis.
There should have been a.
Yeah, look at page 11, 8 and 9.
Actually, let me, I needed to get something to Mr. Dilly on this. If we could, if Mr. Haverco has a case or two, we'd like to. Forgot to give this to Mr.
This is not what.
Lewis. I needed to send you something on that, so.
Is this the one right here that I looked at? Cedar Hospital?
Yes, I have a letter. I have something else too.
Dan, it looks like number 7, page 11. Robert Irwin.
Oh, Mr. Irwin, I have not had contact with him. Is Ms. Aronson called back?
Yes.
Okay. Okay.
Oh.
Hello?
Good morning. Thank you for signing back in, Ms. Aronson.
Thank you.
I'll ask your attorney as to the status of the case.
Thank
Stand
you.
by.
Thank you, Your Honor. So we did have a chance to discuss the matter. We'd like some additional time to conduct additional plea negotiations. She would like to continue this case until the next first and only court date in August. I've submitted a written motion to continue. You know, would ask the court to approve it. I don't believe the city has an objection.
Ms. Aronson, at the request of yourself and your attorney, we're resetting the matter to August 4th.
Okay.
To give you the time to talk to your attorney about the case. We'll be sending you a copy of today's.
Okay.
In touch with with Mr. Haverko, and make sure he has a good phone number, good contact number for you, okay?
Okay, thank you.
And so just a copy of today's order, and you take care of yourself, and we'll talk to you in August.
All right, thank you so much.
Take care. There you go. Brett, to go back to the 9:45. It looks like warrants. These are resets out of other courts. It looks like 1 and 3, they're already in warrant status with us. We'll just leave those.
Okay.
And docket number 2, that is attached to docket number 3. That's a sentence compliance issue. We'll just kind of count that along with if he's ever picked up on the warrant. That doesn't seem to work that well. These, quash warrants for other courts. We don't get many appearances of
No.
it.
Yeah. Yeah, I think it just needs very. Above and beyond anybody else's. Or go through this court.
And I have done that. I've asked that the court accept that.
I have an agreement with the both of you. We'll sign off on that. I will assume good cause. Yes.
I believe that's all I have. Thank you.
Did we do anything with Cynthia Miller? Docket number 9 on.
I believe we did this more on record, did we not? Yeah, so she's taking care of it.
And with the old courts, they don't really need the docket or the file, so it's a little easy for me to.
So you,
Tomorrow morning.
holy smokes.
Short timer.
Wheels up. What's that?
Wheels up.
Wheels up.
How far?
Off record?
No, we
Hey.
still need to discuss this.
This is number
Number 7 on the 11th.
7 on the 11th.
7/11, Robert Bristow Irwin. Dan, have you heard anything from Mr. Irwin at all? That's docket number 7, page 11, 7/11.
Oh,
Robert Bristow Irwin.
I thought we
DUI.
already, I thought we already called. it. Did we call that?
It was partially discussed. It was never.
Oh, okay.
We never.
Yeah, it looks like it's, so it's a show cause based on this lack of compliance with the DUI. I haven't had, I have any contact with Mr. Irwin.
Goes back to 2020,
Yeah, March of 2 years.
$10,000 cash a bond.
So ordered. He's already got a warrant on a Roy. May as well have one here. Going to call the 1 o'clock arraignment calendar. You're here, this is your first court appearance after you received a citation to appear in court. It's called an arraignment. I'm going to address your case one at the time. Before I do that, I need to advise you of certain things. You have a right to have a lawyer represent you at all stages of any criminal proceeding, including today's hearing. If you're indigent, you're entitled to a lawyer at public expense. Mr. Haverco, our public defender, is here. He will at least enter a plea on your behalf today if you're unrepresented at this time. Typically, at an arraignment, a plea of not guilty is entered on your behalf. All that does is preserve your rights until you've had a chance to go over the case with your attorney and discuss the possibility of resolving the case without having to go to trial. Sometimes that can be done, sometimes it cannot. If it can't be done, you do have a right to a public and speedy jury trial in the county where the offense was allegedly committed. At trial, a number of other rights attach, but we don't need to go into that at this time. First on the docket is Brianne Lynn Barnett. Is Ms. Barnett here? A number of people are not going to appear. Once we're done with the calendar, I will go back over the cases, and if somebody did not appear and there was probable cause to issue the citation to them, a warrant will issue for their arrest. So you've at least saved yourself a warrant by appearing today. How about Nathan Allen Black? Mr. Black, if you would come up and have a seat at the council table next to Mr. Haverco. Is your full name Nathan Allen Black?
Yes, sir.
Citation alleges that on or about June 7th, 2022, within the city of Yelm, you refused to comply with a lawful order of a police officer. That's a misdemeanor. The maximum penalty on conviction would be 90 days incarceration and a $1,000 fine. I'll turn to Mr. Haverco to enter a plea on your behalf at this time. Mr. Haverco?
Thank you, Your Honor. Stipulate probable cause, ask the court to enter a not guilty plea.
Mr. Black, a plea of not guilty has been entered on your behalf. The stipulation of probable cause means that you just agreed that the officer had a sufficient legal reason to issue the citation. That's a long way from proving you committed a criminal act by evidence beyond a reasonable doubt. We're going to set a pre-trial for August 4th at 10 o'clock in the morning. I'll sign an order to that effect, setting the hearing. I'm going to ask you to sign off on that. And you can get a copy of today's order by going to the window out the courtroom and to your left.
Right here.
Conditions release are law-abiding behavior. Stay out of trouble and stay in contact with Mr. Haverco pending the matter. And of course, reappear on the date.
Yes, sir.
Date scheduled.
602 430 0058.
Okay. Yeah, just on your way out, if you need a copy of the order, just go to the window. Yeah.
Thank you.
Mr. Black, thank you for appearing. You take care. We'll see you in August.
Thank you.
Kelvin James Probst. Good afternoon, sir. Is your full name Kelvin James Probst?
Yes, Your Honor.
Citation alleges that on or about June 26, 2022, you committed the offense of reckless driving. That's a driving offense, which is a gross misdemeanor. The maximum penalty of conviction would be 364 days in jail and or a $5,000 fine. I will ask Mr. Haverco to enter a plea on your behalf, and he will represent you if you're indigent and qualified, but that is something you need to discuss with him off the record. Mr. Haverco?
Thank you, Your Honor. Stipulate to probable cause, ask the court to enter a not guilty plea.
Mr. Probst, a plea of not guilty has been entered on your behalf. That preserves your rights. We're going to set the matter for a pre-trial. Everything's on computer, and sometimes I think it was faster to do things by hand. September 1st at 11 o'clock in the morning. Any questions?
No, Your Honor.
Conditions released, law-abiding behavior, no driving license uninsured, and stay in contact with Mr. Haverco, and of course reappear on September 1st.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Again, I'm signing an order to that effect. Go ahead and get a copy of that at the window out of the courtroom into your left. Adam Connolly. Adam Connolly in the courtroom. He does not answer. How about Brian Erickson? Mr. Erickson, if you'd have a seat next to Mr. Haverco. Good afternoon. Is your full name Brian Lewis Erickson? Mr. Erickson, the citation alleges that on or about June 27, 2022, you committed the offense of assault in the 4th degree. That charges what they call a gross misdemeanor. The maximum penalty on conviction would be 364 days incarceration and or a $5,000 fine. I'll ask Mr. Haverco to enter a plea on your behalf at this time.
Thank you, Your Honor. Would stipulate to probable cause, ask the court to enter not guilty plea.
Mr. Erickson, a plea of not guilty has been entered on your behalf. I'm going to set the matter for a pretrial. And that will be in a moment. Conditions of release are going to be law-abiding behavior, stay out of trouble, and it looks like there should be no contact with Paul Erickson while the matter is pending. Is that going to be any issue? Pretrial will be on August 4th at 10 o'clock in the morning. Again, one of the conditions, no contact, law-abiding behavior is next, and of course, stay in touch with Mr. Haverco and return to court as directed. Any questions at all? No.
What's your phone number?
Mr. Erickson, your pretrial will be August 4th. Again, make sure you're back here on that at that time.
You're good?
And if you would, Mr. Erickson, don't forget to get a copy of today's order at the window. Calvin Goodman does not answer. John Herzog in the courtroom does not answer. How about Rochelle Holiday? Ms. Holiday, if you'd step forward to have a seat at the council table next to Mr. Haverco. Thank you. Is your full name Rochelle Lynn Holiday?
Yes.
Ms. Holiday, the citation I have alleges that on or about June 29th, 2022, committed the offense of theft in the 3rd degree. That charge is what they call a gross misdemeanor. The maximum penalty on conviction would be 364 days in jail and or a $5,000 fine. I will appoint Mr. Haverco to represent you, and if you're indigent, he'll represent you throughout the course of the matter. Mr. Haverco will plea on behalf of.
Thank you, Your Honor. Would stipulate to probable cause, ask the court to enter a not guilty plea.
Holiday, a plea of not guilty has been entered on your behalf. I want to thank you for appearing. We're going to ask you to sign off on your promise to reappear at the pretrial date. And other conditions of release are no violation of any no contact order that's on file with the county. That could be an issue with, in addition to law-abiding behavior. And of course, do not discuss the case with any co-defendant, and that would be Mr. Holiday.
I have a question for you as well, because right now I currently have all of his stuff and his vehicle and his dog. How do I go about getting that back to him?
That is something you're going to need to talk to Mr. Haverco again. Typically, what we would do is go to the issuing court, I don't know which court issued the order, and ask for their permission to retain, get things where they belong.
Okay.
Ms. Holiday, I'm going to wish you the best of luck. Your pretrial will be September 1st at 10 a.m. And this is property belonging to Mr. Holiday.
Yes, yeah.
It's pretty much up to him to bring that issue to the court as well.
Okay.
We'll sign the order. You can get a copy of that at the window out of the courtroom to your left.
Okay. Thank you.
Ms. Holiday, good luck. Take care. Nicole Kessler in the courtroom. That's to the left, that's to the right. How about Gerald Lininger? Mr. Lininger, you assured me that you would show up, and here you are. It's good to see you. For the record, is your full name Gerald Lloyd Lininger? Yes. Mr. Lininger, the citation I have alleged said on or about July 1, 2022, you committed the offense of assault in the 4th degree. That charge is, again, a gross misdemeanor. The maximum penalty on conviction would be 364 days in jail and or a $5,000 fine. Based on your financial situation, I'm going to appoint Mr. Haverco to represent you in this matter, and he'll enter a plea on your behalf.
Thank you, Your Honor. Would stipulate to probable cause, ask the court to enter a not guilty plea.
So, Lininger, a plea of not guilty has been entered on your behalf. Conditions of release are law-abiding behavior, stay out of trouble, and reappear in court on the date of your pretrial. And also, when we spoke on the phone, one of the conditions was no contact with Mary Schmidt. That remains in effect until it's modified. Yes. Any questions at all?
Yeah, she moved to Florida, I think, yesterday. But
Well,
still, it doesn't make any difference. I can find it.
Right. You have a, gotcha. You have a phone number? Go ahead and write it down.
And Mr. Lininger, your full name is Gerald. I take it Lloyd, L-L-O-Y-D, Lininger.
Yes, sir.
And thank you. And again, there's an order that I'm signing, setting the hearing for August 4th at 11 o'clock. And please get a copy of that order as you leave the courtroom, and stay in touch with Mr. Haverco, okay?
Sign here on the pad. That's a 250, 290, 290.
Haven't given a contract.
Okay, that's okay. That's okay. That's good. That is good. Oh, we'll talk about that. We'll talk about it.
Mr. Lininger, any questions at all?
No.
Again, thank you for appearing. And we'll see you here in August. Good luck.
Catch up with you. Yeah.
How about Nicole Orvis? Nicole Orvis in the courtroom? Does not answer. How about Kyle Parker? Good afternoon, sir.
Good afternoon.
Is your full name Kyle Sheldon Parker?
Yes, sir.
Mr. Parker, the citation I have alleges that on or about January 4th, 2022, you committed the offense of criminal trespass, 1st degree. That's what they call a gross misdemeanor. The maximum penalty on conviction would be 364 days in jail and or a $5,000 fine. I'll ask Mr. Haverco to enter a plea on your behalf, and I'll appoint him to represent you if you're indigent.
Thank you, Your Honor. Would stipulate to probable cause, ask the court to enter not guilty plea.
Parker, a plea of not guilty has been entered on your behalf. Conditions of release, of course, are law-abiding behavior, and that would, of course, include not trespassing on any premises from which you've been excluded or trespassed. Your pretrial will be September 1st at 10 o'clock in the morning. Now, I'm going to again ask you to get a copy of today's order, and that can be gotten at the window outside the courtroom and to your left. Any question at all, Mr. Parker? Thank you for
Just wait a
appearing.
second.
Thank you for your patience. And
Waiting to.
one more
for you to
thing
sign
here.
this. Don't sign it. I'm waiting for. Go ahead now, sign it.
Mr. Parker, thank you. You take care. Is Chandra Pesca here? Christian Riddle. Travis Tobin. Julia Torres.
How you doing?
Don't laugh.
Good afternoon. Is your full name?
We do a long time. Same shit, right?
Ma'am, is your full name Julia Angelic Torres?
Angelique, yes.
Angelique. If there's a way to mispronounce a name, I'm going to. I apologize.
It's no problem.
Citation alleges on or about June 22nd, 2022, you committed the offenses of DWS, driving a license suspended, revoked, first degree, and violating the terms and conditions of the ignition interlock law. Both of those are what they call gross misdemeanors. The maximum penalty on conviction would be 364 and or 5,000. I would appoint Mr. Haverko to enter a plea on your behalf at this time, and he will represent you if you're indigent and qualify for a public defender. And he'll talk to you about that off record.
Your Honor, would stipulate to probable cause, ask the court to enter a not guilty plea?
And Ms. Torres, again, that preserves your rights pending a pretrial. And conditions of release are appear for court on August 4th at 10 o'clock. That's your pretrial. Law-abiding behavior, and that includes don't drive unless you're licensed and insured, and have ignition interlock if required by the Department of Licensing. Any questions at all?
You say August 4th at 10.
Well, you'll get a copy of it.
August 4th. And did you have a question?
No, that's it.
Okay.
Sign.
Can you see?
Yeah. Yeah. Do you have a number?
Yeah.
9052. Awesome.
Torres, I've now signed the today's order. And again, if you would, stop by the window outside the courtroom to your left and get a copy of that. And again, stay in touch with Mr. Haverko. His contact information will be on the order you'll get today. Thank you. Victor Valdez. Good afternoon, sir.
Sorry.
Full name Victor J. Valdez.
J. Valdez, Hawkins. The C with the silent H.
Mr. Valdez, the citation I have alleges that on or about June 18th, 2022, you committed the offense of malicious mischief, third degree. That's a misdemeanor. That's a misdemeanor. Maximum penalty on conviction to be 90 days in jail and $1,000 by way of fine. Now, I know you want to say something about that, but now's not the time. Now you only enter a plea of not guilty, and anything about the case, that is something you'd need to talk to your attorney about, the public defender.
Okay.
Not right now, not right now. But Mr. Haverko, I'll ask you to enter a plea on behalf of Mr. Valdez.
Thank you, Your Honor. Would stipulate to probable cause, ask the court to enter a plea of not guilty.
Mr. Valdez, your plea is not guilty, and I'll remind you that the system of law, where you're presumed to be innocent until your guilt is proven beyond a reasonable doubt as to each and every element of the offense, you're entitled to defend yourself, but that is something you need to talk to your attorney about.
What?
It would be.
I don't know why I do, so,
What's that?
I don't know what's this about.
Well, you'll find out. Yeah, you'll get information on how to contact your attorney and they'll get the report.
Cause I never,
But
I
don't,
got a ticket, but I never got a ticket. That's one thing.
Okay, Mr. Valdez, this is something you need to,
I know. I'm talking.
there's a time to talk to that.
All right, boss.
At this time, Mr. Haverko, one of the things he doesn't have is copy of any police reports,
Okay.
doesn't know anything about the case, and now's not the time.
Okay. I
There will be a time, but
All right.
not now.
Okay, thank you.
all right. Oh, and I gotta have you. Let's see. Yeah, I think there it is. Gotta have you sign. Give me a second. Wait a second. Oh. Go ahead and sign. Go ahead. Sir. Go ahead. Sir.
Mr. Valdez, you're going to get a copy of today's order. That's out of the courtroom and to your left.
Okay.
And that'll have contact information with Mr. Haverko, but he's going to be able to, he's going to have to be able to review
Yeah.
the police reports, and then he can discuss fully your case.
Yeah. Weird. All right, appreciate it.
Thank you for your patience. You take care. You have a good day.
You too.
How about Anthony Wing or Wingy? Is that you? Am I pronouncing your name correctly?
Are you saying?
How do you pronounce your name? Is it Wing or Wingy?
Wayne?
Wayne?
Is it Anthony Edward Wing?
Yes.
Mr. Wing, I'm looking at the citation that alleges that on or about June 21, 2022, you committed the offense of criminal trespass second degree. That charge is what they call a misdemeanor. The maximum penalty on conviction would be 90 days in jail and or a $1,000 fine. I'm going to ask Mr. Haverko to enter a plea on your behalf, and what he will do is represent you throughout this matter if you're indigent.
Thank you, Your Honor. Would stipulate to probable cause, ask the court to enter a not guilty plea.
I just got approved from my first department.
Yeah.
Now, Mr. Wing, a plea of not guilty preserves your rights. You're presumed to be not guilty. You came into the courtroom a little bit late. You're going to have a lawyer represent you in this matter. So I want you to rest easy about that. Now, the conditions of release are law-abiding behavior, stay out of trouble. And also that includes, don't go to places where you're not supposed to go. You've been told not to go. And if you have any question about exactly what that means or how that applies to a particular place, that's something you need to ask Mr. Haverko about.
I'm sorry, I went and met I just got food from my first appointment. I met the landlord today.
You're here in time. You're here in time. If your last name was Adamson, you would have been late, but we hadn't called your case yet. So you're here on time.
Go and sign here. Okay.
And do we have nobody on the line?
No, just-
Mr. Delia, we don't have anybody on Zoom, so I guess a lot of people neglected to show up, so we'll generate the warrants, I guess.
All right.
Hey, safe travels.
Thank you.
Time and tell us all about it when you get back.
I will do. You guys take care.
We shall. You as well.
All right. See you later.
Okay.
Back on record for the one no shows. First one is docket number 1, page 13. Brianne Barnett cited for DWS third and failure to transfer title. Amend the criminal charge to the first criminal charge to no all 2, and the second one from failure to transfer to expired tabs and FTA that to the Department of Licensing. Next would be Adam Connolly. That is docket number 4, page 13. Find probable cause for the issuance to him of sites for DOS third and ignition interlock violation, 2,500 cash or bond. Next one I have is Frank Charles Goodman. I find probable cause for the issuance to him of a third-degree theft site. Excuse me, 2,500 cash or bond. Next would be Mr. Herzog. Looks like he's already in warrant status out of Pierce County, but I find probable cause for a Malmus 3 site to him, 2,500 cash or bond, and hopefully Pierce County will get it. The next one, harassment, Nicole Kessler. That's a little, Donnie, I'm not sure. I was sort of looking at that. And I see in the citation, there's given address is 166-608, but in on the ticket issued, it's 608. So I'm not sure she got notice of I don't know.
There's not one over here, so we didn't have the mailing, so that means that they handed it to her.
Handed it to her.
But I will correct that address in our system.
Yeah. In any event, there was a probable cause for harassment. As long as she actually received that with the correct date on it, 2,500 cash or bond. And the next one would be Nicole Orvis. Probable cause was previously found when I talked to her in the JO. 2,500 cash or bond each charge. Her docket numbers 11 and 12. And the docket numerous warrants out of Puyallup, Beauty, and Pierce District. No surprise there. Next would be Chandra Ray Pesca. Find probable cause for the issuance to her of a theft third citation, 2,500 cash or bond. Next would be Christian Riddle. He was another in custody. I found probable cause when I spoke to him for disorderly conduct, 2,500 cash or bond. And last would be Travis Tobin. Find probable cause for the issuance to him of a reckless driving site, 2,500 cash or bond. And with that, we can go off record.